Why is exploring the depths of Shennongjia not allowed? In 1998, the military was dealing with an unknown creature in Shennongjia. A series of incredible events occurred, ultimately leading to Shennongjia being sealed off. To this day, all foreigners are prohibited from entering. The deep areas are a restricted zone within the restricted zone. Even locals dare not approach easily. Mountain dwellers who gather herbs year-round only dare to linger on the edges. They all say they have seen an unidentified, hairy humanoid creature inside, as well as giant footprints. As for what is hidden in the depths of the restricted area, it remains a secret to this day. In 2002, while I was pursuing my doctorate at Central South University, I had the privilege of following Professor Liu Yunfeng to the secret base in the depths of Shennongjia. The purpose was to study the unidentified humanoid creature. At that time, assisting our expedition was also a mysterious 9-person team under the direct command of the highest authority. This team was publicly known as the Field Biological Expedition Team. It also had an exclusive designation. This designation was T. I was the last member to join this team. During the process of tracking the unknown creature, also known as T-09, during the expedition in the depths of Shennongjia, we had close encounters with the creature suspected to be the wild man, and we also collected some biological samples. But just when the research was about to make a major breakthrough, this mysterious team was suddenly disbanded without warning. Professor Liu's scientific expedition was also terminated. As for what caused this, it was beyond what I was privy to. I originally thought the secrets of Shennongjia's depths would be sealed forever and would no longer have anything to do with me. But 10 years later, I suddenly received a text message, T-09. Looking at the exclusive code name on my phone, I was stunned for a moment. Because 10 years ago, when the T-09 designation was secretly sealed, I also accepted another top-secret confidentiality agreement that no matter when, where, or in what manner I received this exclusive codename, it meant this codename was reactivated. In other words, something had likely happened in the depths of Shennongjia. I had to get to the base as fast as possible to accept the reactivation mission for T-09. After briefly explaining the situation to my company, I set off. On the surface, the secret underground base in Shennongjia was an old-style building from the 50s or 60s. Its external appearance was so dilapidated, it was almost in a state of complete ruin. However, as someone who once had a special status and special experiences, the true nature of this building was something I knew all too well. Just as I was about to enter, the door of the SUV opened casually, and out of the car stepped a middle-aged man with a thick, full beard. Seeing this bearded man, a question involuntarily rose in my mind, because in my memory, among the members of the T-Series code names that were secretly sealed 10 years ago, this unfamiliar face was not one of them. Just as I was wondering, the bearded man spoke first, looking at me, and said, T-09, Little Juge, Zhao Zhuan. When I heard the bearded man directly call out my exclusive code name, and simultaneously say my nickname and full name, I was taken aback. I said to the bearded man, "You know me?" Although I didn't know the bearded man's specific background. But a guy who could appear here at this time was definitely no ordinary person. The bearded man didn't answer my question directly, but instead stared at me with cold eyes and said with some dissatisfaction, "You're late." Hearing his words, I felt a bit displeased, but out of politeness, I forced a relaxed tone and said, "I didn't waste a single minute." Unexpectedly, before I could finish my sentence, the bearded man showed a very unreasonable attitude and said, "But you were late." There's nothing to argue about. This tone of voice was clearly that of a superior speaking to a subordinate. But this man isn't my superior at all. Barely suppressing the anger in my heart, I was just about to confront the bearded man. At that moment, a honky red flag sedan with a special gin gold license plate sped over like lightning. A sharply dressed got out of the passenger seat. He immediately turned, his movements extremely practiced and coordinated, and used his hand to pull open the right rear door of the honky sedan. From the right rear door of the honky sedan stepped out an absolutely heavyweight VIP who frequently appeared on TV news programs. After getting out of the car, the VIP casually glanced over in our direction, then whispered something to the young man who opened the door. The young man then waved to me and the bearded man and called out, "Comrades, please come over. The leader has questions for you." Only then did the bearded man and I enter the security cordon formed by 6 special police officers and approached the VIP. The bearded man spoke first in an admiring tone, introducing himself to the VIP. Only then did I learn that the bearded man's real name was Shennongjia. The VIP, with a natural air of authority, smiled and nodded at Shennongjia, then asked the young man beside him, "Is he on this assembly list?" "Yes, his reactivation codename is T-09. The young man replied. Hearing the young man's reply, my heart skipped a beat, because the exclusive codename T-09 that I knew did not belong to this bearded man, but should have belonged to another person named Zhang Qingqi. Moreover, the codename T-09 was the first codename of the T-series. In other words, the person holding the codename T-09 was my current boss. Could it be that this reactivated T-09 codename had changed hands, and that the Shennongjia, who now held this codename, was my current boss? Just as I was feeling 10,000 times dissatisfied in my heart, the VIP spoke to me in a very amiable tone, "Zhao Zhuan." Codename T-09. Hearing the VIP directly state my name, an exclusive codename, it wasn't just me who was surprised. Even the bearded Shennongjia was surprised. Shennongjia and I together stared at the VIP with astonished eyes. The VIP, of course, knew the questions in mine and Shennongjia's minds, but without any explanation, continued speaking to me. "Zhao Zhuan, don't be so surprised, to be honest with you. The codename T-09 is one we were most reluctant to activate. That's why your department kept the T-09 codename sealed and did not activate it for a full 10 years. But this time, after careful consideration by the high-level organization, your exclusive codename T-09, it's time for it to be activated. I hope you will not fail this mission. You are, after all, the last ace we've been holding in our hands, unwilling to play." Hearing the VIP's words, Shennongjia stared at me with an extremely complex expression. I, of course, also stared back at him with a meaningful look. But regarding the fact that T-09, which originally belonged to Zhang Qingqi, this exclusive codename, was being used by this Shennongjia before me, I felt a sense of ominous premonition. It was obvious from the VIP's words just now that I heard a hint of showing off. That is, the code name T-01 had been activated more than once in the past 10 years. And perhaps even more than once, the assigned person for this code name had been changed. Whereas my exclusive code name, T-09, had not been activated even once in these 10 years. I had always been the user of the exclusive code name T-09. I had been benched for 10 long years. In these 10 years, this mysterious organization possessing T-series code names, what had happened to it? I felt as if I had become an outsider to this mysterious organization, deliberately excluded from it. Full of questions, I and Shennongjia followed the VIP into this old-style building. The security inside the old building was tight, in stark contrast to the dilapidation and decay on the outside. As a heavy iron door opened automatically, the modern facilities inside the entire old building were absolutely breathtaking. Although in the lobby we passed through, we didn't see a single guard. Various ultra-high-definition cameras installed in hidden corners of the lobby had already scanned our biological data into the retrieval database. Our identities were being verified by an ultra-high-precision automatic recognition system. Verified. And this automatic recognition system simultaneously controlled groups of laser weapons. If one failed the automatic recognition system's verification, the laser weapons would activate instantly. Not even a mosquito could hope to slip through this ultra-high-precision automatic recognition system. Actually, my identity had already been verified by the automatic recognition system the moment I entered that iron gate. Otherwise, I would never have had the chance to get close to the VIP. Shennongjia and I followed the VIP through a second automatically opening iron door and then entered an elevator. The elevator descended automatically. From the time the elevator started descending until it stopped, I could basically determine we had been transported 500 meters deep underground. The elevator opened. On both sides outside the elevator door, two young women with pleasant faces, wearing special uniforms, were already waiting respectfully. One of the women led me and Shennongjia down the left corridor. The VIP and his bodyguard were led by the other woman down the right corridor. We were led directly into a conference hall. There were already 7 people sitting inside the conference hall. However, what I found very confusing was that among these 7 people, there wasn't a single familiar face. All were unfamiliar faces. According to my inherent assumptions before coming here, these 7 people who arrived before me should have been the team members who had carried out this special mission in Shennongjia with me. But these 7 people before me, not a single one was a team member who had carried out the mission in Shennongjia with me. Could it be that only my T-09 codename group had not changed its assigned person, and all the other T-series code names had changed their assigned personnel, or perhaps those few people I was once familiar with who held T-series code names had already met with a major incident? Seeing my bewildered expression, none of these 7 people took the initiative to greet me, nor did anyone cast a friendly gaze towards me. Instead, they stared at me with a provocative look, as if I were an uninvited guest who had accidentally wandered in. But at this moment, I knew better than anyone that these 7 people, just like me, in the real world. Moreover, each had extraordinary identities and backgrounds.